Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing excellent. This morning we're getting ready for the maiden voyage with the FC. Since we swapped the motor and did all that, I have been driving it around, but no more than just a few minutes from my house, not even more than a few miles, because we've been testing everything out. After doing enough tests, I think we're ready to take her for a longer drive. We're going to go up to the local car show meet, and I've got my supplies back here, a little repair kit, jack, some supplies, a little quick dealer for when we get there. Maybe I need more juice for the laptop, so I got a little inverter charger there. Car's looking pretty good, so we're ready to roll. Got the laptop with the Haltech. We're going to be monitoring our temps as we go up there. That's been the name of the game for the last 3 videos, so hope you're not getting too bored of that. Got a bag full of goodies, including free stickers and a fire extinguisher. Hopefully we don't need that. I also have extra fluids. Obviously I got my premix, I got my oil, and I got some extra coolant, so we can double check everything. We're going to hit the road here, and I will update you as we go along, especially if anything weird starts to happen. Well, so far no incident. I made it about halfway. Things are going really well. I'm just cruising. Obviously still have the boost cut, so I couldn't do anything crazy even if I wanted to, but the temperatures are staying really perfect. So I'll show you right here. I'm not going to look, I'm going to keep my eyes on the road, but I'll narrate to you what's going on. As we're moving down the road, my coolant temperature, which is the one in the middle, 186, going great. As we're going uphill, just dropped to 185. As we're going uphill, it will, at which you're starting right now, it will start to climb just a little bit. The intake air temp next to it, if I'm just sitting and going kind of slowly, it will go up above 100. We're going uphill right now, so you'll see those temps climbing just a little bit. But also, if I get out into some free road and just pick up the speed just a little bit, like 5-10 miles an hour, it drops right back down below 100, which is great, because that's what we're looking for. And also, the oil cooler, as you saw in the 170s, is doing really well, because we relocated it and put some different air directional stuff, ducting around it, so we weren't sure how well that would cool. And when we're just putting around on city streets, it's in the 200s, and I think that's okay, but it's good to know once you pick up some speed and start moving that it does really cool efficiently. The fans are working great, so if we pop up above 189, they cool us down within a second to the right temperature. So everything's going great, fingers crossed. Yeah, oil pressure's good, everything. So my battery voltage, or the alternator voltage, does drop to like 13.5 when the fans click on, which I think is okay. But again, we're running on that alternator we didn't plan to have on the car, because our high output one unfortunately did not work, so that'll be something we'll fix in the future. Anyway, things are going smooth, knock on wood, but if anything crazy happens, I'll definitely try and click the camera on as soon as possible. Alright, worst temperatures I've seen so far, extended uphill with pretty heavy traffic, so as we're moving, they're starting to go down. There we go. Back uphill again though. Let's see. Plus it's getting hotter outside, getting closer to noon. We're getting further inland, so this is a great test, but so far so good. I don't feel as nervous as I did before I set off. Good thing I got up here early, because it's not even 11. Meet starts at 12, and the streets are packed, as you just saw, with tons of amazing cars. So very excited. I really wish the car was tuned so we could, I don't know, make some noise. I guess I'm noisy enough. This is really exciting. Well, sitting here in the long line, we are running into a bit of trouble. The heat soak is getting to us. The temps are not looking so good. 212. Shutting it off and turning it on is not seeming to help because it just heat soaks all the coolant, and then when I turn it on to take a quick move forward, it comes back on pretty hot. So yeah, I don't know what the key would be. I don't know if I need different fans or whatnot, but we'll figure it out. We're just sitting here, we're just idling, so it's not too dangerous, but definitely gonna need to cool her down a bit once we get to a place where we can stop. Well, we definitely need airflow for our design. I forgot about my plan of turning the heater on, which I did, but I'm currently coasting downhill because, yeah, our intake air temps are soaring and blinking at me because we're just sitting here in the heat soaking everything in that engine bay, and yeah, it's just not having it. So anyway, we'll see if we can even get into this lineup, because this is huge. I mean, I've been here for at least half an hour just in the line, so, but it's going to be a great meet. Hopefully we can get into the main part of the show. If not, hey, at least we'll be able to attend and look at all the cool cars. Well, it was a close one in line, but we did make it. We're here, she's breathing. Now we're gonna go check out all the other cars, including the rotaries over here. Nice. NA is better. That's funny. Look at this beauty. Look at all these goodies in here. Ariamamiya wheel, Mazda speed seats. What pedals are those?
They're the JDM Infinity pedal.
Nice.
So it had the RX7 badge indented in the pedal.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then the C shifter, Ariamamiya shift knob. Look at this clean. Damn. Whew. Looks great, man. Looks great.
Really excited.
What's your name?
What's that?
What's your name?
Caleb.
Caleb?
Yeah.
All right. Are you on Instagram or?
Yeah. Mine is financial crisis _3.
Oh, yeah. We've been friends on there for a while, actually. Okay. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Beautiful car.
Thank you.
We've been stopped 2 times. Thank you guys for saying hi. It means a lot. I know we're a small channel, but this is really cool. We're up in the VIP area. Trying to stay focused, because if I don't get a hat soon, we're going to be cooked.
He's up there. We'll go see that food. Where do you have the...
Such a great showing from the Rotary crew out here. Love it. So I've been talking to some of the guys around here, lots of great resources. Got Mike FC over here, Miguel. And I think it is unfortunately, the air temps that are causing everything to get too hot when we're heat soaking there, when we're not moving. So because the air temps are getting so high, nothing's able to cool down, and it's just heat soaking the engine itself. Because the fans that I'm running, the Spall fans, everyone's giving me pretty good reviews on them. So we're gonna try and put a fan on the top of that intercooler and see if we can put on a switch for now, get it wired up with the intake air temp trigger once we get the Haltech set up at Lucky 7, and see how it goes. So I'm going to put a little order in online and get going, but I'm going to enjoy the rest of this car show.
Start it up.
So I'm back home. It's actually a few days later. So on the drive home, it was about 10 degrees warmer out than it was when I drove up in the morning. And the good news is the air temps were exactly the same going back as they were on the drive down. And the intake air temps were only about 7 degrees warmer. Just to give you a ballpark of what I was experiencing on the way back. When we were back home, we know the main problem is the intake air temps heat soaking with the heat soak when I'm not moving, and that the engine cooling system cannot overcome the air temps getting up in the mid 100s, and it was going close to 200 degrees on an intake air temp. And of course the engine can't run with that sort of air temp either, because it's going to pre-detonate and all that crap. So let me show you what I picked up. I got this simple Maxon Performance, just generic 10-inch fan. It's actually pretty beefy, and it actually has metal construction. I just tested it out with my battery charger as power with 10 amps on it, and it was moving some air, which is cool. And then I test fitted it on here. I'll show you the little clip from my cell phone being stuck in the engine bay right here. But basically we're just gonna get this puppy wired up. It's gonna sit back here like this. The engine, the hood can close. There's plenty of room for there to make air move, and it's not just going to be pressed up against here, and it closes nice and neatly. And what I'm hoping is, if you can imagine, this will create negative pressure in front of this, positive pressure behind it, start pulling air through. Obviously we're not hindering the flow of the intercooler when we're moving down the road, because we're not covering it all up, but we're putting a big chunk of it under the fan, so hopefully we can control those temperatures. And what will happen is that when we're not moving, hopefully it'll create this positive pressure in here, which will naturally move up and away because this whole front part is sealed back here. And then actually, hopefully, when I have it running, when I'm just sitting still, hopefully I can feel a little bit of air coming out of this hood vent. Then obviously when we're moving down the road, eventually it'll be triggered after it's under a certain temp to turn off. But when the air comes in here, it comes back down here, and it just pushes air down over the engine and into the transmission tunnel, which creates negative pressure and pulls everything this way. So obviously we saw in last video's demonstration that when we're moving, it is airflow going over the intercooler, and when we are reading the temps when we're going down the freeway at freeway speeds, even just like 60, 70 miles an hour, it is getting plenty of cooling. It is barely touching 100 or getting above it, even in warm weather. So all I need to do right now is pop this cover off, take the intercooler out, because it did come with a little mounting kit, which is the same pass-through style, hey now, mounting kit, where you just zip tie it down, and then run the wiring. That's about it. Okay, got the fan just on here. It's not attached from the other side, it's just test fit right now. Got the relay just kind of dirty wired up here. Got the actual relay here. I actually have room for it to go right in here with the other stock relay, so one more. Let's see, I'm going to plug this in. Let's see, it goes like this. Oh, like this. Okay, so hopefully I did all that right. Now the question is a switch, and eventually I want to have it run off the Haltech based on intake air temp if this all works. But for right now, I just pulled a little bit of wire through, and I actually had an extra fog light switch. I don't know why. This does control the fog lights here. It's wired up a little weird, but if I flip this, if I wired everything correctly, that fan should turn on. And it turned on. Let's go check it out. It's on. There we go. And I don't know how. Oh yeah, underneath. Okay, yeah. You can hear it. I got that underneath it. Okay, cool. So now, mount everything up, get this finally mounted, and then we can run some tests and see how it works. All right, it's time for some testing. I'm out here on a pretty warm afternoon. I'm definitely warm in here because I don't have AC yet. And it's about 72 degrees Fahrenheit. So I've got my laptop set up here so we can monitor the temperatures. And we're gonna test out this new fan on the intercooler. So I'm gonna drive her around a little bit, get her warmed up, kind of imitate the conditions that we had driving on the freeway for a while, and then sitting and idling. Gonna grab some gas and we'll see how these temperatures do. Okay, well, I've got some good news and some bad news. Good news is I've been driving around in traffic basically, and the cooling system, as long as I'm moving a little bit, is still working no problem. So including the intake air temps. Bad news is I kind of already tested the fan when I was waiting at the gas station, and I don't think it does diddly squat. And I think in fact that when I'm driving around, it's actually hindering the airflow through the intercooler, and it's making the temperatures worse. So I'm letting her warm up right now. So when I'm sitting here idling, it does need to have the fan on, but it just stays dead on where it's supposed to be at the coolant temp, and then drops down a little bit. Again, the sun is setting. It's beating down on the car. It's still pretty warm. I'm starting to sweat in here quite a bit, so we may be able to test it and see here in just a minute, because yeah, it just stays dead on right here. Coolant temp 190. That's 1 degree above when the fans kick on. Fans are pumping, and the intake air temp is starting to rise. 147. Coolant temp staying the same. And then at some point what's going to happen is that this intake air temp is going to get too high, and then it can't hold it, and it's going to end up dropping off. Or excuse me, it's going to start going up. And that's when we're going to try our little fan and see if it makes any difference. Okay, here we go, and it's starting. You can see here we're up to 192, 155. I'm going to click our fan on. We'll see if anything changes. Oh, it's fine. It's got 123. Well, interestingly enough, the fan seems to be holding it at 157. It was climbing quite a bit higher previously for the intake air temp, but that's still too much for the coolant system, as it's starting to go up to 196 now. So I'm going to see what's the difference of just opening the hood. Temperature's already dropping. I just turned off the fan. 155, 4. There we go. that, the fan is off. So I don't know if you guys can see, the shadow popped up, you can see all the heat ripples coming up. So I'm sitting here, I've got my leg outside the car here, and when the fans kick on for the radiator, I can feel the hot air blowing all the way underneath the car past my legs. So the fans are kicking on and they're doing just fine. So as I sit here with the hood open, I can see that the air temps, intake air temps and everything drop like rapidly. So obviously the design we have with everything compact, moved back into the engine bay, and taking up all that space, it's not just, I'll show you from out here, it's not just passing air over this intercooler that's the problem. It's that all these piping, this core outside of here, all this piping and the heat soak onto the throttle body itself, which is where the intake air temperature sensor is, just getting too overwhelming because there's too much heat crammed into the engine bay, which is unfortunate because I really like this design. But I think, you know, I have two options. One, I can run it the way it is and just try to avoid situations where I have to sit idling for a long time, because temperatures are always fine when I'm moving, even if I'm at high RPMs, or get a vented hood. Well, the third option would be scrap this design, move everything back up front where it sits in here instead of back here. That's the way the radiator would sit, but somehow fit the intercooler in there. Maybe with this smaller one instead of the big one that we used on the first iteration of the other FC, we could fit it in there without cutting the bumper. I don't know. But I think maybe looking into a vented hood is the solution. Because I'm gonna see how cool it gets sitting here idling in the intake air temps with just the hood open, basically meaning no additional cooling. So I'm gonna see how cool I can get it, and I'll update you guys on the temperature. Okay, so I have my answer. 122, it's now 123, there it goes, 122. That's pretty much it. So it'll go to 122 and then come up to 123. You can see the fans just did a cooling cycle right there. This looks great. Went down to 185, popping up to 186. But yeah, so that's what having an open hood with no air movement would help me get to. So the question there then is it worth it? I was waiting for that, shopping for vented hoods. Looks like I'm not going to get anything worthwhile for under $1,000. Plus then, who knows how it will fit. And when I'm moving again at any decent speed, even at high RPM, I get at 100 or below, even in warm weather. So I think we're going to run it like this for now, guys. We're going to lose the fan on the intercooler. We're going to run it like this, and since this is we're just going to we're just going to control not getting in a situation where we have to idle and sit stationary for a long period of time. That's the best solution. It's going to save me money, and it's going to let me run with the stock hood, which is the design that I like. Hopefully this failed attempt isn't too much of a letdown for all of you, but again, this is the process of R&D in a home garage when you're shooting from the hip and trying to make something work. So hopefully guys, you're enjoying it. I had a blast at the car show, a blast meeting some of you. Thank you so much for watching. Please take a look at the links in the description. Stay kind to each other out there, and when they ask you, tell them you want more.